play that for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's on the album.
That was, you know that every time we play that song, Billy brings up a different topic. While we're playing the song and we go back to back, this is half true story, and he's here, confirm it. Like several shows ago, we're playing it, and we're side by side, due to the back-to-back thing, and he leans over and he's like, I just saved 20% of my car insurance by switching to Geico. And I go, really? I'm like, I'm in. We're doing an improv about a Geico first. I'm like, really? Yeah, man, it was easy. Just go online, click and save. I'm like, you're kidding me. He's like, no, I'm not. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. He split. And then last night you were talking about carpet mold. He was. He's saying, I got mold.
I know, because they do their thing when they're back to back. And Mike and I were just standing here, left out of the party, and I was like, Mike, turn around. So Mike turned around, and we're like doing duo back to back, and I look over, Rich is going like this. Oh, really? And just talking, he wouldn't acknowledge us because it's a deep conversation about carpet mold.
That's not, by the way, I did, I'm like, oh, that's great, those guys are what? Oh man, that's terrible. But you gotta pull that carpet up, get rid of that carpet bag. I mean, like, we did solve some household cleanliness problems. Please.
Gotta use them
please.
as a...
That's what we arrived at bleach. And then ended it with 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 again.
Well, guys, enjoy Mr. Spate.
We'll be back. Oh, wait, you'll be back.
We'll be back.
I'm going to step off from my panel. Everything we do to entertain ourselves. And if every now and then a little bit of our entertaining ourselves entertains you, well, that's a happy accident. And couldn't be happier. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to start taking questions, because why not? You.
Hi.
Hey.
So, on the show, your character takes on other identities. I was just wondering if there was one in particular that you love to play the most.
You have really nice diction.
Thank you.
Identity. It's good, man. I got a real marble mouth. That was precise. Where are you from?
Stateville, New Jersey.
New Jersey. Diction capital of the state. Known. You would say your city again?
Your character takes on...
No, not that.
Oh.
Say your city?
Bayville.
Fayetteville?
Bayville.
How do you spell that?
Bayville.
Bayville. Perfectly pronounced. Of course. Identities my character takes on. You mean in terms of like being Trickster or Loki or Gabriel, all that? It's hard to say. Like obviously the root character of Gabriel is sort of the most well-developed character in the series, and so I really enjoy playing the elements that come together to make that character up. I loved getting to play Loki. I thought that was really cool. I'm glad they brought that character into the series for an episode so we could explore the backstory. It never would have occurred to me that they would find a way to tell the origin story of Gabriel and Loki and that relationship. That was so cool. I was so happy that Meredith Glenn pitched and got that idea into the show. Because obviously I've been close to these characters for a decade more. And to then, so many years later, be able to go back and revisit things that led to the events that sort of formed that character's nature, it's really awesome, you know? So, man, I really enjoyed it all, but for the sake of answering, I'll say I really enjoyed the Loki component as sort of a spin-off of the Gabriel character. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yeah.
Hi. Alright, so in your professional opinion, who's the hardest to direct? Jared, Jensen, or Misha?
For starters, don't you ever refer to me as a professional. Secondly, Jared. But that's only because he wants to be the most difficult to direct. Not difficult to direct like he needs acting help. Difficult to direct because it's like It's like trying to teach a Great Dane how to play piano. Don't want to do it, not gonna do it, and he's gonna run around a lot and probably break shit up in the process. So he just sometimes is, likes to be a big goofball and ham it up and be a storyteller, and it's awesome. I mean, his energy is fantastic, and we're good friends, and working with him has been, my first episode was a very Jared-heavy episode. So we bonded quickly in that process, and I will forever be grateful for his patience and artistic kindness during the Just My Imagination shoot, because I was so new, and he was so awesome, and a good friend and a good buddy, and during that whole thing. So I say this: none of them are problematic at all. But for the sake of the comedic answer, Jared, I like it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Ella.
Hello.
Hey.
I was wondering which celebrity would make you starstruck?
Celebrity who would make me starstruck. Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman would freak me out. Musicians. I saw Keith Richards walking through a hotel lobby once, and I practically had to lay down and take a nap. I'm a big music fan, so I'm mesmerized by that level of talent. And when you're talking about, music, Rolling Stones, for me, REM was a big one growing up. But just think about the Rolling Stones, for the sake of conversation, the Rolling Stones. They're the soundtrack to multiple generations. So many people know their music. Their music's being played at any given moment. Somewhere, somebody is playing their music. And we take that for granted, they're the Rolling Stones, of course they're famous. But they didn't start out famous. They started out as a bunch of British dudes who liked the blues and started a band. I just admire that talent so much, that drive, and then to create that style and that sound. And then, is there anybody who's more of a rock star than Keith Richards? He just embodies that whole ideal. When I was a kid, I wanted to be Brian Jones. I always thought Brian Jones was super cool. I just didn't want to be dead. But other than that, I thought Brian Jones was, again, all the early pictures of the Rolling Stones, so cool. He's the one blonde dude and the big, page boy haircut with the mutton chops, wearing a fur coat. Brian Jones got to introduce Jimi Hendrix at Woodstock. That's awesome. So I'm probably not going to see Brian Jones, seeing as he's been buried for 50 years. But I'm going to go with even though I say Gary Oldman, and that's actor-wise, but musician-wise, anybody in the Rolling Stones, or anybody in REM, freak me out. What about you? Who's your big one?
Dylan O'Brien.
I get it. I'm thrilled. Who the hell is Dylan O'Brien?
T-Wolf.
The Michael J. Fox movie? I'm kidding, it was a show. I get it, it was a show. I never saw that show. Was he the wolf?
No, he was the awesome best friend.
Yeah. Well, if we ever run into him together, I'll be there to support you because I will be unfazed. So I got your back. Thank you. You.
Hi. What is your favorite episode that you've been in?
That I've been in. Unfinished Business. Just because that told so much of the story of Gabriel and also Loki, and I got to direct it. So it was a really unique experience to revive those characters, in a way that told a lot of their story, and then to actually direct it. That was just a rare professional opportunity that one will always be, a special episode for me. What was your favorite episode I met?
Probably Mystery Spot.
Yeah, that's a solid one. It's great. It's I'm barely in Mystery Spot. I think I shot for a day, just because, really, the characters talked about a lot, but I don't physically appear much. That was cool because I got to work with Ken Manners. For me, that made that episode really special because he's a legend, and obviously we didn't know if he would pass away. But having already lost him, I'm glad that I got the opportunity to work with him. So that's awesome. Each episode, to be honest, I can carve out some reason why it's a very unique and special one. So all answers are right, but That's a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
So we saw you having some fun on the keyboards earlier.
Yes.
So I was wondering if you could pick up any instrument right now, play it perfectly, what would it be?
Banjo. I love the banjo. I love bluegrass music. Like, and people are like, oh, play banjo, bluegrass. But playing banjo is played well. Bluegrass is played well. Like, go get a live album. Take a Richard Speight musical recommendation and download the live double album of Alison Krauss and Union Station. And tell me those aren't some of the best musicians you've ever heard. I love bluegrass music, and when it's done well, there's nothing better. There's no tricks in bluegrass. There's no production going in. You don't go and record it, then put a pedal on it, make it phasey, and do things to polish it up. Bluegrass is bluegrass. So when you see a bluegrass band live, bluegrass instruments are self-amplified, so that
I'm sorry.
when you see a true bluegrass band,
I'll
there's
sit
only a
here.
couple of
No
mics to
problem.
sing, and as you solo, they walk towards the mic, and when they're done solo, they walk away from the mic. That's how it works. There's no turning up the volume on the banjo. I just respect the daylights out of people who can play this as well. Nickel Creek is another great band. It's worth listening to. But do yourself a favor. If you don't buy the whole album, go listen to Alison Krauss and Union Station. And the live album. And interesting, if you're a fan of Oh Brother Where Art Thou,
Ooh, yeah.
and that song Man of Constant Sorrow, which is a great song. The guitar player for Alison Krauss and Union Station, whose name I'm forgetting right now, but he's like the other lead vocalist in the band and the guitar player. He is George Clooney's voice in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. He's the singing voice for George Clooney. So not only do they do everything else great, but when they play Man of Constant Sorrow, they're playing the definitive Man of Constant Sorrow because he's the guy. So it's really a great album and worth checking out. What about you?
I actually play like 10 instruments, but one that I cannot play for the life of me is the violin.
Ah, is that something you want to learn to play?
I feel like I would just mess up so horribly.
What instruments do you play?
I play clarinet, the saxophone, guitar, the ukulele, a little bit of piano, some drums, these instruments called boomwhackers, the recorder, the melodica.
What's melodica? I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like a mini keyboard, but to make it make sound, you have to blow into it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And then what about what's the boomwhacker?
Oh, so basically they are tubes and they're cut at different lengths, and when you bang them on a solid surface, they make sound.
My kids
So,
in music class do that.
You have to play with them with a group.
You have like those felt pads that you hit them with or something? Or
Yeah, like generally like a more hard solid surface will like make a more resonant sound.
Right.
So you have like a C tube and like a B tube. Like you whack them.
That's awesome. That's cool. Well, you sound very proficient at musical instruments. I bet you can figure out the violin at some point.
Maybe I'll try.
Listen, challenge yourself. You're obviously doing great with that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Listen to Alison Krauss. By the way, Alison Krauss and Union Station was just a band called Union Station for a long time. And they lost their violin player, better known as a fiddle player, and ended up hiring a 16-year-old girl to be their fiddle player. That 16-year-old girl was Alison Krauss. And they hired her for fiddle playing, didn't know she could sing. And it turned out she could sing, and she was brilliant at it, and became the lead singer. So she's also their fiddle player, in case you didn't know that. So listen to that band, and you won't be sorry. You.
Hi. So my question is, what was your reaction when you read the script and realized that Gabriel had been brought back only to be killed a couple episodes later?
Well, those are two separate thoughts, because that all didn't happen in one script. But when I saw, when I was up there directing an episode, season 13, talking to Andrew Dabb on the phone about that episode, and he said, "Oh, and you're coming back." And I said, "I know, I'm directing episode 1320. He said, no, you're coming back to the show. We're bringing you back to the show. And I'm like, what? Really? Holy crap. Well, that's awesome. I said, can you tell me what it is? He's like, well, I'll send you the episode outline so you can get a sense of what it is. The script's not written yet. He sent me the episode outline, and it said, opens the dungeon door and reveals Gabriel with his lips sewn shut. And I called Andrew back and I said, when did my wife start writing on the show? That's her dream. I thought it was awesome. Look, I mean, it's a character I've been close to. Obviously, I've been associated with the show because of that character for 14 years. The chance to get to play the character again was awesome. So I was thrilled. I didn't even care that it was. I didn't know what they were going to do the story, and I didn't care. So the fact that only to be killed later, that's all gravy. I never should have been back. Like the fact that I actually had to come back and do 6 episodes and be a part of the story. Obviously, I don't like dying on the show because I'm an actor and I like to work and I like to play that character and would love to have stayed on for the rest of the season. But I rather than look at the negative, I look at the positive. I was given this gift to get to suit up with the character again and explore more of the story that is Gabriel, that is Loki, that is the trickster. So to me, it was a huge gift from the producers and the writers. I was thrilled. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hi, I was just wondering, I know you play on a show with a lot of creatures and monsters. I was wondering to what extent you believe in the mythology featured on the show.
Not at all. No, to me, it's fiction. I don't spend time when I'm developing my directing or acting thinking about the parallel of what is real. To me, these are fictional characters that have been. Now, I think there's obviously some resonance for people. They're able to tap into these emotional elements. Fear clowns, that stuff that's legit. The Bloody Marys, like sort of the older, old wives' tales and such, and even in Just My Imagination, the conversation about imaginary friends, which are very real for a lot of young kids. So it's not like I think it's all bunk, but I don't sit around thinking about the specific realities of specific episodes of the show. I'm more focused on, in the universe that is supernatural, the characters that inhabit that world, how do we make this story resonate as good as possible and make this episode as good as possible and tell the story as effectively as possible. Understand? So I've never really spent any time thinking about mythology, but I think it's because I look at it through a different lens, making the show versus relaxing and just watching it as a viewer. So for yourself, do you find yourself a believer in what the show discusses?
I like to believe that there's, like an afterlife and everything, but I don't believe in gurus and greats.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm saying, I think you sort of said what I was saying in a way, which is my belief system, whatever it is not tied to supernatural storytelling. You know what I'm saying? I've got my own belief system, I've got my own, things that I believe, but it had nothing to do with storytelling and supernatural or how I approach the storytelling. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Great. Then we agree. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey.
Do you have a routine or a warm-up that you do before coming to set, either as an actor or as a director?
No, I don't. As a director, I wake up really early before call times. If it's prep week, I'm prepping. I'm constantly working with the department heads to figure out the story and hone the story and figure out the beats and get prepared to shoot the show. And then work on shot lists. When it comes to the actual week, so the 8 days of shooting, I always wake up in the morning. So when you say routine, I guess it's not true. I guess I do. It's not always the same. But I always wake up early. I like to be up way before call time. Because I know I'm not going to sleep for 8 days anyway. There's no reason pretending I can get any good night's rest. It's not going to happen. there's so much work and there's so much pressure, and it's just kind of feels overwhelming. So like, wow, I'll give in to the insomnia and wake up super early, print out the shot list, go over the shot list, make adjustments. Inevitably, the day I'm about to shoot a scene, I make some pretty dramatic changes just based on what happened the day before or an idea I had as I'm really focused on it, and make those notes, print out twice, usually walk down to the coffee store, get myself a cup of coffee, come back. If I have time, I'll do a little workout, and I'll try to stay active during that time because it's so stressful, and then get picked up and go do it, and then start the next day over and do the same thing. It's just so, I love the process of directing, but it's so taxing that, it's just, if I let myself stop, exhaustion will take over. So I just keep moving, stay working, stay focused, get up early, stay on it, and worry about collapsing after the fact. For me, acting is different in that directing, my schedule is the same every day, in so much as I'm going to get picked up, an hour before a cool call, I'm going to be there all day, I'm part of the whole process all day, every day, versus acting, which you might have one scene, one day, no scenes the next day, 3 scenes the next day, so you're not in it, there's not a rhythm to it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Certainly when I get there, I'm getting a costume, getting makeup, I do stretches and things like that to sort of get myself warmed up, but again, that sort of is dependent on what the scene is, so it's not the same every time. That makes sense?
That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
So you're an amazing director, and you're directing episodes both in Lucifer's final season and Supernatural. So how is the set similar and different due to that fact?
Well, I haven't been on Lucifer's set this season yet, so I can't tell you what their set is like, this being their final season. I can tell you that I'm getting real tired of shows that I like directing going away. I prefer they stay. So we agree. Look, directing Lucifer was an amazing experience last year. I feel very fortunate to have gotten my first outside of Supernatural directing experience on that show. You have phenomenal creative minds running that show. Joe and Ildy, the showrunners, fantastic people, fantastic writers. You have an amazing ensemble cast that is headed up by one of the most personable actors I've ever encountered in Tom Ellis, who's just a great performer and a great guy, and a great team leader. People ask me a lot what the differences are or similarities to Supernatural and Lucifer, which is not really what you asked, but I'm going to answer that anyway. Both those shows are blessed with great team leaders. The reason why you love Supernatural is because Jared and Jensen are great team leaders. Because they've held that crew together, they love those characters, they love each other, they love their crew, and they love their fans. And it shows in the work they do on the show. And it shows when they stand on this stage. And it shows when you see them in a photo op, and when you get an autograph from them, you can tell the way they look at you and each other. They're engaged in this experience and know somewhere deep inside, they know there are 2 boys in Texas who are living the dream. They get it. And Tom Ellis gets it. In that same way, you never get the sense that Tom Ellis isn't incredibly appreciative, even though he has all the talent in the world, all the charm in the world, deserves the job. He is just a very gracious, warm, gregarious, kind performer, and a great team leader. And Lauren, as his number 2 in the call sheet, is equally devoted to that show and the character and the relationships in the show. And it sounds like I'm up here blowing smoke of 2 shows that I have worked on. But the truth of the matter is, I've worked on a lot of TV, and I've worked with a lot of people that are not nice, and I've worked with a lot of actors who are not warm people. And I've been doing this for 30 years, and I know rare, and Supernatural is rare. That lightning in a bottle that is Jared Jensen is rare. And Tom Ellis is blessed with that same rare spirit. So I feel very fortunate to be on both shows. And you know, I hate seeing them both go, but the fact that we don't want those shows to go away means they were great shows. So it's a compliment to the show that we're sorry to see them wrap it up. You know? Thank you so much. Thank you, Billy. That's great. Really needed this. No, this is great. All right, you.
Hi.
Hey.
So Gabriel was the trickster for a pretty long time. So my question is, what do you think his favorite trick is he played that we never saw on screen?
Oh, for Christ's sake. Billy, you've always been talking about this. What do you think, Robbie, this is a good one for you. What do you think? Robbie, Bob, you have a question, she wants to know what was the greatest trick the trickster ever played that we never saw. Yeah. You know,
The time that he made the boys check into the hotel as Haywood
Jamal, yeah. The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing people that he didn't exist. Well, I believe in the devil, and the only thing I fear is Kaiser Sose. Ladies and gentlemen, this band is right here, and that means that it's time for us to sign off. That means it's the end of our time on the stage with you good people. And let me tell you something. Doesn't mean you gotta get out of here now. Because there's autographs, there's photographs, there's probably meet and greets, there's some other stuff going on.
Lots of graphic.
A lot of graphic, autographs. But it does mean that we're done on this stage. And we celebrate that by singing this song that we sing every time we close out a show. And
We'd like to thank you for a great weekend.
It's been fantastic.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Stay started, you guys are doing a fantastic job. It started great on Friday. Great show Saturday night. Carrie did it there, which was great.
Yep.
Been a great day. Great 3 days. So thank you so much, New Jersey. And now we celebrate by singing this song. If you know it, please join us. If you don't, you'll know it soon. Here we go, boys.
It's the end of the con as we know it. It's the end of the con as we know it. It's the end of the con as we know it. So go home.
After you get your photographs and after you get your autographs. Not yet. But
It's the end of